Hey there everybody, it's Leaf here, and I'm just in my house shooting a quick little update. It's been about a month now since I've uploaded a video, and I know I've made a few posts saying that I was working on some new content. Say hello to George. Hi George. It's my cat George. Hey buddy. I'll show you my other cat real quick as well. Fred and George, the Weasley twins. There's Fred. Hey Fred. I've had a lot going on recently. I've been in sort of a state of flux. Some things have been changing up for me. I went to Alchemy, which if you don't know is the Georgia Regional Burning Man event. If you've ever been to a burn or familiar with burns, essentially it's similar to a festival. It's a little bit different. It's not centered around schedules and bands, but is more of an ongoing art project and a temporary city. People just come together to make art and be free, and it's a temporary autonomous zone, so there's no law enforcement allowed on the property and things like that, which allows for a little bit more of a true human experience. Welcome to my meditation space. I'll give you just like a quick peek around the tapestry there. Window, some prayer flags, a little altar in the corner there. Here's Shiva right there. My little spot where I like to meditate and make music. I'm currently staining a table for my wife to use as an altar. A little herbalism shelf with Thich Nhat Hanh up above it. One of my inspirations and gurus, if you will. So anyway, I'm going to talk a little bit about what's been going on, up to what I've been doing, what I've been thinking, feeling, processing, all that stuff since the last time I shot one of these. So the day before Alchemy, I quit my job. I had been working as a baker for a year at a bagel shop, and it had been a great job. I really enjoyed it, learned a new skill. It was really interesting and really fun, and I feel like I grew a lot and learned a lot. I learned how to multitask for one thing, and I've never really been a morning person, and so initially getting a job as a baker, I knew I was going to have to be up super early in the morning, which was intimidating and scary at first. I didn't know if I could do it. I struggle to get up in the morning. It's not something I immensely enjoy and can often be a bit of a chore. I first started working there. I would get there at 6 in the morning, and I was just essentially the shop baker. And then about 5 or 6 months into that, there was another baking position at the shop, which was the delivery baker. So you would actually get there earlier in the morning and bake for several accounts around town and then actually deliver the bagels to them. And so that position started at 3:30 in the morning. So when I took that position, I essentially took on the roles of both. So I would do the delivery baking first and then do the store baking as well. Between that and my restaurant job, I was working nearly 60 hours a week, and I would work from 3:30 in the morning, sometimes until 9 o'clock at night. Sometimes later, it just depended. And so that was a real strain because of all of my anxiety and everything that I've been having going on mentally lately with the panic attacks and all of that kind of stuff. It was really difficult to sleep in such a narrow window of time. I have long had trouble falling asleep anyway, and sort of having this really narrow window within which I had to sleep or I was going to be screwed was really anxiety fueling. It really made it even more difficult to sleep. So I would often function on 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night and then pull these kind of crazy 12-hour days. So it just got to a point where it wasn't sustainable anymore, and it just started to really tax me mentally and physically as well. I experienced a lot of fatigue, a lot of ennui, and a lot of just general languidness. I would come home and have all these plans to be productive and accomplish things and just be completely incapable of doing it. Eating, just because of my crazy schedule, I would forget to eat, and that certainly didn't help. That the best thing for a healthy mind is healthy nutrition, because mind and body are interconnected. If you don't take care of one, the other will suffer for sure, and vice versa. It was this sort of cyclical narrative that I was feeding both sides of, from a physical and a mental standpoint, and so it became toxic. Even though the job itself was great, the environment was really starting to be a detriment to me, and I learned a lot from just simply making the decision to let that go. So I'm currently working on a video talking about releasing attachment, learning to let go when the time is right, because that's currently what I'm learning, and what I'm trying to put words to that and sort of solidify that idea in my mind. But real changes that happened for me at Alchemy, at the Burn, it was a very transformative weekend. I feel like a different person, and it's not to say that I had this crazy experience and came back and all my problems were washed away, because that's certainly not the case. I definitely came back to the same stressors, the same situation, but my thoughts on them had fundamentally changed, and I knew this to be the case when I turned my phone back on. I had my phone off pretty much the entire weekend, and I turned my phone back on, and the first text message that I received upon turning my phone on was that the restaurant job had hired someone else and didn't need me for the shifts that I was working there anymore. And normally before that weekend, had I had news like that, I would have been very troubled and very concerned, and instantly gone into sort of an anxious state, and I didn't. And I read that message, and my only thought at the time was, well, I guess I've got free weekends now. And that was, like, as I pondered that when I was meditating later, it was a really cool moment when I realized that that I was starting to make some really great changes, and that meditation was bringing me to a less attached and more open-ended position. Today was my last day at the bagel shop, so one last week of super early mornings, but today was my last one. I don't have to do that tomorrow. We'll be getting up early with my wife to go to our yoga studio for early morning sadhana. Haven't done that before, just because of the early mornings, and so now I have the ability to do that, which is cool. And so I feel like it taught me that I can truly achieve things that are beyond my current belief about myself. I would say that that's a huge thing that I'm learning right now. Not to limit yourself to one-dimensional thinking. So simply because your life is unfolding in a certain way at this particular moment doesn't mean that the next moment it has to unfold the same way. You are in control of that narrative. You are in control of how you react to anything that happens in your life. You can't always control the circumstances that happen to you, because we feel as though creating these attachments and creating this control will somehow give us stability. And I think that this is a limiting thought pattern, because it destroys our inability to imagine life in any other way than in which it is currently unfolding. And it often comes in the guise of open-minded thinking, but it really isn't. It's a sort of subtle self-deception. Tomorrow, I'm going to get up and go to sadhana with my wife, and then I'm going to be going to do some community service hours. If you've watched my video on the wreck, I had some legal ramifications that came out of that. I received a reckless driving from that, and so I'm currently on probation for that. And then I'm coming home in the evening and attending a drum circle, so it's going to be a very full day. And then Thursday morning, I start my new job. I just got a job at Uber Prints. I will be doing t-shirt printing. So it's a completely different thing for me. I've never done anything like this before, and it'll be a refreshing change, I feel, to be out of the service industry, at least for a little while, and doing something different. It's going to be a little bit of a change of speed. It's a little bit of a pay cut from what I was currently making. I can truly say right now, probably more than at any other point during the last year, I truly believe in the good things coming, and I think that some interesting lessons are starting to come to fruition from the things that I've been experiencing and walking through. I'm excited to see where this next year takes me. So thank you for watching. I will have another video up shortly. I've been working on writing it all week, because I really want it to follow. I really want to do justice to the things that I've been learning and the things that life has been teaching me. I want to be able to share it in a way that it can have a positive impact on you guys as well. Thank you for watching this, and if you enjoyed it, leave me a comment, and feel free to subscribe as well. Much love. Namaste.